happen again. I'm Josie Huang.
Donald Trump's tough talk on immigration makes a lot of California's local and state officials nervous. One area they're worried about is the personal data various state agencies have on hundreds of thousands of people in the U.S. illegally. Trump hasn't said whether he wants to go after this information, but the president-elect has demonstrated it's hard to predict his next move. Here to discuss all of this is Elizabeth Aguilera, a reporter with Cal Matters News Service. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Libby.
So what kind of databases does California have that include personal information on immigrants who are here illegally?
Well, there are a few. So the state lets children in the country illegally get subsidized health care through Medi-Cal, and California allows some unauthorized immigrant college students to pay in-state tuition rates and to apply for state-funded scholarships. But the biggest trove of information is what's kept by the Department of Motor Vehicles. In 2015, the state started allowing those without legal status to apply for licenses. And since then, it's issued nearly 800,000 of those licenses.
So what's the DMV saying about whether it would be willing to share that information?
The DMV says the only time it provides access is when a law enforcement agency is seeking information about a specific person for an active investigation. No agency is simply allowed to peruse the database, and they don't keep a separate database. Everybody is in one database, no matter how you got your driver's license. State universities also follow the same policy regarding allowing law enforcement agencies in, and the state agency that oversees Medi-Cal said it didn't even want to speculate on what Trump might do.
So what are state lawmakers saying about all of this?
Well, state leaders are promising to protect the data and protect immigrants in the country without permission who live in California, should the Trump administration come knocking. I spoke to Senate Pro Tem Kevin De Leon at a rally last week here in L.A. about the data the state holds.
We're consulting with our lawyers right now to make sure that it is not accessible to federal authorities for any deportation proceedings.
In Sacramento, Democrats hold the governor's office and supermajorities in both houses of legislature, so they're taking a pretty strong stand.
Yeah, I heard a lot of the speeches being made in the opening of the session earlier in the week, and it seems like it's set for a showdown. Could the state legally withhold this data if the federal government said it wanted it?
Well, that depends on who you ask. So experts on both sides say there is law to support their argument. Immigration legal experts say it could be it would be unprecedented for the federal government to require a state to share this kind of data, and that the state could refuse. Bill Hing is law professor and immigration expert at the University of San Francisco Law School.
If the federal government asked them for all those applicants and their addresses, they could say no. There's no requirement that they have to turn that over.
Hing points to the 10th Amendment to the Constitution as protection. It says that powers not specifically given are reserved only for the states. But some supporters on the other side of more stringent immigration enforcement, they disagree. The Federation for American Immigration Reform, they point to the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, to some updates that were done in 1996 that give the federal government the right to any information that would help it enforce immigration laws. And the organization said if states refuse, they would be in violation.
So what is the extent of state power here? I guess we may find out. So, Elizabeth, how likely is it that the Trump administration will try to get the state to turn over personal information on hundreds of thousands of unauthorized immigrants?
That's a good question. And the best answer is that no one knows. So far, Trump hasn't brought this up, but as we all know, he's been very unpredictable. For instance, we've seen him back away from his original promise to deport every person who's in the country illegally. And during an interview with 60 Minutes last month, Trump said he would focus on the 2 to 3 million unauthorized immigrants who he says are criminals. Here's what he said when he was asked what he plans to do about the other 8 or 9 million in the U.S. illegally.
After the border is secured and after everything gets normalized, we're going to make a determination on the people that you're talking about, who are terrific people.
But state leaders are nervous given the threats Trump has made to cut off federal funds from cities that say they won't cooperate on immigration enforcement. And that's why they're preparing for any possibilities.
That's a very interesting story, and we will be following it here on KPCC. And thank you so much for your reporting, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Libby.
Elizabeth Aguilera is a reporter with Cal Matters. You can read her article about this story at KPCC.